Hello, my name is Betsy Webb, and I'm the superintendent of the Bangor School Department. Today, I have some of the math team members with me from Bangor High School. I'd like to start by allowing them to introduce themselves to you.
Hi, I'm Paige Brown, and I'm a senior on the math team.
Hi, I'm Connor Thompson. I'm also a senior.
I'm Isaac Robinson, and I too am a senior.
And I'm Bill Reynolds, and I am also a senior.
And I'm Mr. Robbins, one of the math team coaches.
He is not a senior.
Well,
Maybe a different kind we are, right? But we're not going to admit to that, are we? No. So the Bangor High School math team has this long-standing tradition of excellence. I mean, it's amazing when you look at all of the state championships. What is the key to success? I mean, what would you want the community to know about how Bangor High creates and maintains this level of success?
well, I mean, we think it's a lot of fun. Like we've set up this community, and we reinforce other people. We help people get better, so they can have more fun too.
Mm-hmm. We start from when the students are very young too. Freshmen and even participate in the math meets. Sometimes as alternates, sometimes on their own little mini teams. And throughout the years of just repetition of doing the problems and like getting together and working on the problems, and the older students teaching the younger students, and eventually they start getting really high scores.
Yeah, and just to elaborate on that, we have 7 math teams.
Yeah.
We have so many people. We have to bring 3 school buses to all our meets.
I like that.
And a lot of I've noticed at a lot of schools they don't have very many freshmen or sophomores. Like the only reason that they would have freshmen and sophomores on the math team would be if they were good enough to be scoring points for the main team. And so the way we think about it is everybody should go to the math team, and even if you only score 3 points, it's fine because you're getting that experience, and the next year you'll score more points, and the year after that you'll score more. And so there are people who, as freshmen, may not be that good, but by the time they get to senior year, they're doing really well, and they're on the red team.
I think the sense of competition actually helps too, because I find that for me, competition, trying to beat the MSSM really motivates me to actually, work really hard on practicing and everything. So I find that I've gotten better as the years have gone on because I've gotten more into that sense of competition.
And, competition between the rest of us.
trying to beat your friends.
Yeah.
Hey, I got that problem right.
Right. Wrong. Yeah. And I mean, you're right. That is part of life for sure, is competing with others and competing with yourself. How do you get a better score?
Oh, yeah.
But, Bill, you talk about MSSM, right? MS.
It's MSSM, yeah.
Yeah.
Main School of Science and Math.
Okay, so why are you so interested in competing with them?
Just because they're the best.
MSSM is currently the top scoring school in the state, but we are neck and neck with them.
They're literally the main school for science and math.
Yeah.
If we can beat them, we're doing pretty well.
Yeah. They last year they sort of ran away with it because they had an incredibly good team.
Mm-hmm.
And we had one senior
on the order of 11 in the top 35 in the state.
Wow.
It was very and this year they are almost as good, and we're keeping up with them.
Awesome.
Us and MSSM are miles ahead of all the other teams in the state, and I hope that will continue.
So explain where we are right now. I think you shared with me that we've had 3 meets.
We've had 3 meets. MSSM have scored 1,096 points over those 3 meets, and we have scored 1,091.
So far.
No, sorry, it's 1,099 and 1,094.
Okay.
Yeah, we might get an appeal that will make it 1,098, 1,099.
Oh.
1 point out of 1,100.
Wow. And
It's
the
very
next
close.
Closest team in 3rd place is
79 points behind.
They're like
more than that.
a little over
83.
1,000.
Okay, so it's very close with those top 2 schools.
Yes.
Yeah. But you're feeling confident about this year?
Yeah.
Because you've had more practice, because you're all seniors.
We've been doing very well in the team rounds as well, which isn't always the case.
Okay.
On the first 2 meets, we got perfect team rounds.
which is very rare.
And on the last meet, we only got 1 problem wrong in the team round.
Wow.
So
Now, part of the success for the team round has been, Bill has been the one that said, we need to meet more. We were meeting Friday mornings very consistently, and he said, I think we need another morning. And so now it's turned into student-led. They meet Tuesday mornings and Friday mornings, and one of the necessary components every time is a team round, and it's borne fruit.
It's
Wow,
also
that's great.
a lot of us have the same math teacher,
Yeah.
and so Mr. Stedman will write on his whiteboard, "Math team practice Friday morning, 7:20. Be there," and he will annoy his students the entire week to come to math team practice, and then we'll have the entire team at math team practice in the morning, which is great.
Which is great.
His students will also annoy him to give us more math team practice in class too. So.
He always has us do these DTQs. They're called do these questions before we start
these
class.
quickly.
Do these quickly. Well, do these questions sometimes.
Daily trivia quiz.
Do these questions quickly.
And oftentimes, especially in the weeks leading up to the math meet, he'll just give us problems directly from the packet from past years.
And I think you said that Mr. Robbins prepares a packet as well. So
Yes.
really, it sounds like it's a team approach of
Yeah.
the
So-
teachers helping you.
So on the website, there are PDFs available of every single problem ever and all the answers. And so what Mr. Robbins does is he compiles all of the PDFs into one big packet with a nice cover page.
Yeah, it goes as far back as 1988.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed by their work ethic, because I know not a lot of schools will hand something this thick, this is like 80 pages,
Right.
give it to the kids and say, yeah, I'm expecting it to look at, if not 3/4, somewhere around there. Look at a lot of these problems, and they eat them up. And over the years, it's been many years. Mr. Godso started this trend
Right.
that they're used to getting that packet. In fact, if I don't have that packet out the day after the meeting, I'm
We
late.
come after him.
Right.
Mr. Robbins, where's our math meet packet?
Right. Well, and I think the piece of even wanting another morning to prepare shows that they are taking it seriously, and it is something you have fun at,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is great. Now, you're involved in other activities, so
Oh,
how
yeah.
do you manage your time? I mean, I think that's something that we're very proud of at Bangor, that students are athletes, they're in the band, they are on the math team, they debate, they're in STEM. I mean, they do a variety of things, and we know that we're asking you to figure out how to manage your time. So how do you manage your time and figure that out?
Well, actually, a huge help has been the advanced problem solving class, which is actually a class where we work on the math team problems. And that gives, for me especially, it gives me a time to work on progressing through the problems and learning the material before the meet. But in terms of like preparing for the meet, you just have to kind of prioritize it and fit it in with all the other stuff.
Right.
There's not a lot of other things that go on before school,
Yeah.
and we chose Tuesday and Friday because the things that do go on before school are not on those days.
Right.
So, I mean, a lot of people, when I say you should join the math team, they're worried that they're going to have to go to practice every week, and it's going to be. But the fact is that one of the cool things about math team is you can be super involved in it, and you only have to go to the meet once a month. And if you're on the red team, maybe you go to practice twice a week before school, but it's not necessarily a huge time commitment.
Right. Well, and I know, like you were just sharing with me that, on one day you don't go to swim practice because you go to the debate
Yeah.
team events. And I know that I've heard athletes say to me that they miss their athletic practice in order to go to the meet on that
Yeah,
that
definitely.
Wednesday.
Half the swim team missed swim practice on the day of the last math meet.
Right.
I think all of the sports coaches just accept that they're going to have a lot of students absent on math meet days. So
Right.
thankfully for our athletics programs, there are only 5 math meets.
But I think it's that support of
Yes.
each of the
Yeah.
programs that is so
Yeah.
important. Yes. Yes.
And another thing, especially for the younger students, is a lot of the materials that are covered in the meets are also covered in the curriculums for, in pre-calculus, in algebra 2, in algebra. And just, you learn the materials and then you can apply them to the meet. Yeah.
Maybe the public doesn't know what a math meet looks like.
It's 5 rounds, and each round you get 12 minutes to do 3 different problems. And so the problems are progressively harder. You have 1 3-pointer, 1 4-pointer, 1 5-pointer. And, some people will only get the 3-pointer. Some people will only get the 5-pointer, which is really weird. And the best you can get is 12 points on the round.
Yeah.
Yes. And so each team has 10 people on it, plus some alternates. You can have up to 8 alternates, I think.
Yes.
The alternate scores count for themselves, but they don't count towards the team.
Mhm.
Okay.
And then at the very end, the scoring members of the team will do the team round. And the team round is also 12 minutes, yeah. And it's got nine
questions, 3 3-pointers, 3 4-pointers, 3 5-pointers.
Yeah, right.
So it takes a while to get over. Usually about 5:30-ish. 5 it's over, and then we have to get home and stuff.
Right.
So it's a time commitment, but it really is. It's so fun. And
Right.
it's
And you said that
really
it's
a
6
time.
scores that count.
For every individual round, the top 6 scores on that round are added, and that's the team score for that round. So, and then the team round score is just added to that
Mhm.
for a maximum possible score of 396.
Okay.
And we scored 368 points on the last meet.
That's awesome.
It's really cool because how we're in different rooms. We can sometimes hear if one of the teams do really well. We can literally hear them cheering.
Well,
After we got
Yeah.
the perfect team rounds,
We're so loud.
You
You
can
can
hear
hear us
us
around the hall.
erupted.
Yeah, it's
There
there
are
are,
us who are cheering.
Also, every round has a different category, and the categories are always the same for each meet every year.
Okay.
So you know what the categories are going to be in advance, and so you can prepare for them.
Well,
So
I guess the last thing I would ask from each one of you, what is something that you're proud of this team for, or that you want the community to know about the math teams at Bangor High? Maybe we'll start with Bill.
I'm really proud of the fact that it's actually, a team of students and not, teachers pushing us to work. It's the students pushing each other to work.
Mhm.
I'm actually really proud of that.
I am too. I like that one. That's a good one. Isaac?
And not only the fact that it's the students pushing each other, but the fact that we can push each other to do so well.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of that.
Yeah. I think what you're talking about is something that I always hope we accomplish, that it is that you are doing it for yourself, self-actualization, making sure that it's something you want to put your own seal of excellence on, not for us or for a grade, but for you. So it's kind of cool.
I think the
Connor?
thing I'm most proud of is that our team is so large, and so we have so many people who are getting interested in math team that we're always going to have people who are good. We're always going to have people who are successful just by virtue of having them come for 4 years and building them up. I have a few friends at other schools who are very good at math, but they just don't do the math team because it's not a thing at a lot of schools. It's very few people go to the math meets. And so I'm really proud of the fact that everybody goes to the math meets, even if they're not necessarily good at math right now, because they will be in the future.
Right. And it makes sense. It's a skill. You have to practice it. And even the environment is different.
It is. It's definitely different from math you learn in school.
Right.
And hey, free pizza.
That's a good point.
That's the highlight.
Right. But I think you're right. By having an inclusive model where we are able to help people learn the skills as well as the math, that creates that level of success. That's a good point. And Paige?
Connor kind of took mine, but I'm really proud of how much of a community this has become. Really, of students helping each other and not just, doing it to improve themselves, but to help improve their peers. And like older students helping younger students and everything, and learning the math, and learning that math isn't just some terrible homework thing, some scourge in their lives. Math can be actually fun.
I think, Paige, what you're talking about, there sometimes people believe that someone who is extremely gifted in math may not be a team player, and that the people that are going to be successful are the ones that have the knowledge but can work with others and work as a team. And clearly you're all gifted math students. We can see that, we know that from everything you do, but the critical piece, are you able to communicate that with others? Are you able to work with team members? I mean, that's what is going to define your success at the next level for sure. And so you're well on your way, which is great. And what about you, Mr. Robbins? What are you most proud of?
Well, I want to make sure and mention Mr. Gotso. He is the one who created this legacy. It wasn't the team that it was prior to him really establishing the pride, the history. And he was the one that in his calculus classes really started bringing in the problems. And so the thing that I'm particularly proud of is that we've got these kids that are not working on math team problems in their class. And we've got some kids that aren't seated here, that aren't represented, that aren't in the problem solving class. Like I'll mention Dan O'Brien. He got a 60 at the last meet, but he comes to those practices and he's working on those problems independently. So the thing I'm most proud of with the Bangor crew is how much independent effort they have to put in. There are some kids that are doing a plethora of problems without any credit in their class. It's not helping a test grade or anything like that. And then how large the math team is a credit to Bangor. There are many other large schools out there that don't have large math teams. And so the fact that there is a community where they encourage each other and anybody that's involved, it's with pride. I'm part of the math team. And, it's become, I think, something that Bangor has become proud of. And so I hope we can continue this legacy for many more years.
Absolutely. And you are so right. I mean, Mr. Gazzo had a real passion and a vision of how to make our schools so successful with the math teams.
He's still involved with the math team. He comes to our practices. He comes to the meets.
He still emails me all about the success you're having. Well, I think, again, just as the senior students are preparing the freshman students to carry on the legacy, I certainly want to thank you, excuse me, you, Mr. Robbins, and Mr. Stedman for carrying on the torch. And I know that Mr. Gazzo is helping, and we're so fortunate to have him to continue to do that. But it takes everyone to work with 7 different teams and to make them as successful as they are. So I wish you luck in the next 2 meets, and we are so proud of all of you and the way you represent the Bangor School Department. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.